Good afternoon, good morning. It's Mark Johnson from Loyalty 360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. Welcome back to our discussion and customer loyalty series, which used to be our top 10 series. We produced this series to address the challenges and opportunities that brands are facing regarding customer channel and brand loyalty. We hope that running these programs with insight that can help these brands, these marketers, drive more efficacy and efficiency into their programs. Those on the customer loyalty discussion series are a select group of respected thought leaders in the customer experience and customer loyalty industry from both agencies, technology providers, and consultants. We are privileged to receive their powerful insights and perspectives, but most importantly, their best practices that they are implementing with their clients today. These clients are using it to affect successful outcomes in their programs. The question we asked our thought leaders this time was, how do you think brands need to change the way they're looking at and using data, not just to meet, but to exceed the evolving expectations of consumers? Let's go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, I love this topic. I love talking data with you especially. I think that, there are a lot of challenges with it, but I've really boiled it down to two main challenges. The first is that what marketers that think this data is going to be limitless and this sort of fire hose is going to be here forever are going to be challenged. This data continues to be challenging to capture, especially when you think about how consumers are less trusting about giving up their data. We laugh that, the CCPA put out this regulation where you need to have a button that says, do not sell my data. In our communities, we actually don't ever sell the data, but that button can be really frightening. It can be alarming. So it can really reduce the amount of data that brands are able to collect. I think one of your other Loyalty Live sessions, you said, in 2 years, only 10% of consumers are going to be identifiable. So that's remarkable, really challenging again for marketers to rely on that data. I think the second challenge is that they're being asked by CMOs and CEOs to really create data-driven engagement. So they need that data to make decisions and to really power things like incremental sales or brand loyalty or improve marketing communications. So marketers, they're being asked to do this, what we call like magic trick. You have to respect the data, look at the data security, protect the data. But on the other hand, as a consumer, I want high quality experiences, rich experiences, personalized experiences. So we just talk about, making sure that you're using the data in a way that you can also communicate the why. Why are you collecting this data? Giving a consumer the reasons behind it, and how does that data align with your values and what it is you're delivering? And what role does that data play in your overall delivery of better products and services?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and certainly there's a technical side of data and how it's collected and how it's integrated, and then there's the more strategic side of how do you extract value from that. I think, data in and of itself is not where the value comes in. You have to really look at which data that you're collecting and which data you can integrate, which data you can optimize, which of it is truly valuable, and then secondarily, which data is going to be actionable. How can you actually bring that to life in order to form better experiences and create better experiences or better messaging or better interactions. So really it's technically and strategically thinking about the data, understanding where there's data that is valuable, where there's data that is actionable, and really diving into a fair amount of effort into how do you glean that insight and how do you then extract the value from the data. Because in and of itself, there's a lot of data that just flat out is not going to be that valuable and or not that actionable. So you really need to go through that exercise, both technically and strategically.
Data has always been important, right? So right now, the whole fact that your customer is online, way more than before, you have this opportunity to collect important data points from them. The more the best use of data is the experiences the marketer can create with it, right? So if I have their profile data, their behavior, their purchases, what am I doing, as a brand to give them, the right experience and the right product recommendations and just make it a more one-to-one experience for them instead of, just giving them those generic offers and just have a very transactional relationship. So I feel like data, of course, plays an important role. There are way more important aspects of it, which are underutilized today. And on top of that, now that consumers are expecting to have increased level of trust, right, with the data they're providing, brands have the responsibility to ensure they give the right information to their consumers. How are they keeping the data safe? So I guess, there are multiple levels of making it happen.
First, it's important that brands understand, recognize that in order to gather this valuable data, they need to make it valuable for the consumer to share it. I think so often we talk about gathering data or collecting data, but you need to do it in a frictionless and painless way if you want your consumers to share that information with you. So, in many cases, it might be something like asking to join a loyalty program with as little as a phone number to begin that relationship. I think once you've maximized that total addressable audience, so the folks that would share data with you, by making it simple, safe, and frictionless for them to do so, it's imperative that you embrace the concept of progressively building that data over time. So don't ask for everything up front. Don't even pretend like you know everything you want to ask for up front, but use the data as you continue to build your understanding of the consumer to ask more engaging and more impactful questions that allow you to collect even better data that's going to drive the consumer experience. And I think, generally it's just the constant evolution of that experience should be based on the data you collect. The customer, if they're sharing something with you, expects to get something in return. And I think, one of the things that I would say brands can do more of is they can drive, meaningful engagement for the consumer by the data they understand about them, and they can do it in as real time as possible.
I think the expectation from the customer at this point is, you know me, you know where my order's at, and you know what I've bought in the past. And with that certain expectation, our best customers, our loyalists, even our unhappy customers are setting expectations that they haven't done before. And we really need to make sure that we're equipping our customer-facing associates with all of that information so that they can answer those type of questions that are coming at them. The expectation is higher than it's ever been on the brand to make sure that customer experience is winning. And you really want to make sure your data is clean and that you're providing that single view of the customer, because once we don't trust the data, we have to stop, or we're going to sacrifice that customer strategy and that customer experience and all the testing and work we're doing. So the data has to be clean and then customer facing to those associates too.
I hope you enjoyed today's discussion on how brands should be changing the way they are looking at customer data, not just to meet, but to exceed customer expectations. Join us back every Wednesday for a new series or a new question in this series. Also, join us on Thursday on this YouTube channel for our Throwback Thursday. Our Throwback Thursday series features compiled responses from brands on customer loyalty topics as well. Very interesting, very powerful. Please subscribe to the series, leave us feedback. Make sure to visit loyalty360.org every day, if not 3 or 4 times a day, for the best in customer channel and brand loyalty. And thank you very much for listening.